Hello, everybody. My name is Zach. A lot of people know me as I'm Frenchie. So I was just on a trip to British Columbia, and it was badass. Landscape was insane. I'm gonna restart. This is my first vlog. Never vlogged before, and I'm just wanted to mess around. My living room is an absolute mess because of gear explosion from my recent trip, and I'm going to go through my gear from head to toe, what was in my pack, everything I had, some substitutes that I got when I was in British Columbia that I don't currently have here in Maine. Yeah, should be fun. How about that? We're going to start out with the pack. So I got a pack when I was in British Columbia by Stone Glacier. Great company. Never used their stuff prior going out there. But what I traveled out there with what I put everything in was this Osprey here. It's an Osprey Atmos 50. So I packed everything in here, but then when I got there and added all my food and a couple extra stuff, had to put it in the Stone Glacier, which was like a 70 liter. I'm not exactly sure which model. But it was great. It had a lot more tie downs than this. So the Stone Glacier pack was awesome. And then how about we go to this bigger stuff that was in the pack. So when I got there, I brought my two-person tent by Nemo. It's a Nemo Galaxy. Really not the lightest Galaxy two-person. Not the lightest tent. But for what it is, it's like kind of a mix on like car camping and backpacking for like lightweightness. It's not ultralight. But I take the poles out and it gets fairly small. It's like 4.5 pounds, I think. Poles and stakes in here. That's what I thought I was gonna bring. Get to British Columbia, and the outfitter that I was at decided I was gonna carry the tent for 2 people, and we switched out to a Hilleberg. Don't know if that's how you say it, but bomb-proof tents. I'd never used them before, but didn't have any complaints. It was pretty awesome, and it was a touch lighter or about the same weight. So pretty good substitute there. Okay, now that we're just in doing those big items, tent, let's do the rest of the sleep system. Gotta support local companies. I live in Maine, and they're based out of New Hampshire, and they just have very innovative gear. So I have the Nemo Disco 15 degree, and it was amazing. It's down, and it has this synthetic coated foot box, which was phenomenal because when it rained, which was the majority of the trip, especially the last 2 days when we got snowed in at our extraction point at a lake, snowed in and rained in, and we just sat in the tent and out keeping warm in sleeping bags. You typically slide down in your tent. Footbox rubs up against the edge of the tent, gets soaking wet or wet. This synthetic footbox got dry every time, super quickly. And if my clothes got wet, I just took them off, put them in here, slept with them or laid inside with them, and they got dry super quick. And the bag always inflated, like the down, like re-lofted up or whatever, however you say it. Next, after the sleeping bag, okay, sleeping pad. Also Nemo. It's the Tensor insulated regular length. So it's pretty long. It fits me. I'm 6'1", and it was great. It's thick. I mean, it's like that big. Never deflated while sleeping on it, and it packs like tiny. It's like as big as my head, maybe a little smaller. It also, what comes with it, which is great because I don't want to get winded, especially at high elevation. So this right here weighs nothing, folds up to be wicked small. You pop this into the little opening on the top of the sleeping pad, and you don't have to go like into the teeny little hole on the sleeping pad and just blow it up and blow it up. Hold this big opening open, and just from like super far away, 6 inches, and then you got air in the bag, and then you just push it in. It takes like 4, and you just roll it. You're not like getting lightheaded. The last bit to my sleep system that I had, it was a Thermarest. I don't know the model. It's been out for a while. It's like air on one side, foam on the other. but it's the screw cap and it gets pretty thick. And I had it in this nice little, it's not a dry bag, but it's just a little compression bag. Didn't end up using it, didn't break it out of this one time the whole trip. It was like 8 days I think we were in, and yeah, didn't use it. So, but it's a great pillow when I have needed to use it. I just realized, yeah, well, first of all, my backdrop is horrible, but I have this light above me. Looks like I'm having great ideas. That was a little cheesy, sorry. Also, Nemo, okay, my ass pad. It's a little big, and it's not a legitimate ass pad. It worked as that, but I also, last year, I bought the Switchback, Nemo Switchback, which is a full-length foam cell sleeping pad, and it's long, so it's more than I need as 6'1", and when I'm sleeping on something this thin, my feet don't need to be off like that. There's no difference there. So I just cut off 2 parts of it, folded it up, and put this in the side of my bag on the exterior. So whenever we stopped to glass, like up on the mountains, which could be 10 minutes, it could be an hour and a half or to 2 hours, or take a nap, especially when it was wet, even though I had rain pants on, just take this out, put it beneath me, and my butt stays butt stays dry, and this is like, it doesn't weigh anything, so why not have a little cushion for when you sit down. You're not getting a rock poking you in the butt. 48 ounce Nalgene carabiner, because the pack strap was like too high, so like this was almost falling out. Kind of annoying, but that was my bad. Don't know where it is at the moment, but yeah, Sawyer Squeeze, it's tiny, and I just had the straw with it, so I could just like dip it in the water, because I didn't have smart water bottles, which I usually take instead of Nalgene's because they're way lighter and skinnier. But I didn't take those, and I didn't end up using the water filter because pretty much all of the water that we drank from was moving, so we didn't filter it, and I didn't have any bowel issues, which was phenomenal. None of us did, which was great. Okay, Crocs. I was the only one out of the 3 people that I was with that had Crocs. The other people had brought Crocs in the past. They didn't this time. And then when we got snowed in, they all wanted to use my Crocs. So what's up with that? They're a little bright. I can throw them in the air. I was getting harassed because they were really bright. So they're like, are those like signals to if you get lost? But no, good joke. They were comfortable. Loved to get out of my hiking shoes, my hiking boots, when we got to camp, because my feet were hurting me. I made the mistake, but I didn't really have boots prior this. I've blown out my other hiking boots, and that's not the best thing to buy brand new before you go on a trip at high elevation where you're hiking a lot. But these are the boots I got. I got the La Sportiva Trangotech leather, I believe is what they're called, the Trangotechs, and they're phenomenal. They look fairly worn now. I mean, I think part of that is because I'm a little clumsy. So like the La Sportiva that you see on this side is like full nice lettering, and it's like gone on the other side. So I think I might have fallen a couple times and scuffed it up. And other than that, like I got hot spots on my heels the first 2 days, but I had moleskin. Always bring moleskin when you go hiking. Put the 2 big patches, cut them off with my Leatherman, and put them over my heel. I was perfect for the remainder 4 days of hiking, 2 days hiking out with our successful stone sheep. And then when we got to camp and got snowed in for 2 days, I didn't put them back on. They were soaking wet. My heels were wet. My feet were wet. So I just didn't wear socks and wore Crocs and just went out in the snow and in the rain, and it was good. I skipped over like cook system earlier, so I didn't bring my stove. I ate oatmeal out of this. I ate my noodles out of this, and coffee or hot chocolate, just a cheap GSI, I believe. Yeah, GSI Outdoors. Probably next time I'd get one that had a lid. Not having a lid kind of sucked, because it doesn't heat up as easy. You know, as you cook, you want to have a lid on it. So I would get an actual like mug that had like a lid that closes. My spoon here was great. I'm gonna have to stop this, and my light just turned off. That's a bummer. I'll be right back. Again, apologies for the bad backdrop and the light bulb above my head, but you know, I just wanted to get this done. Nickel tape, a sponge, which I thought I was going to use. The tent did really good with moisture control on the inside, so I never used it. But that sponge was just to like wipe condensation off inside the tent if I needed it. I've got my toothbrush and toothpaste in here. I've got like gauze wrap, blister band-aids, a Leatherman, moleskin, a thread, and a couple different sizes of needle, which came in handy later on. Tape for coats in case my down coats or sleeping bag or anything gets punctured. So it's like the repair kit. Black Diamond Ergo cork, carbon fiber Ergo cork. The guy I was with who was hunting stone sheep, he had some by Gossamer Gear. I think I'm gonna end up picking those up. They were pretty badass. They were small, light, but I love these. I've had them for a couple years. So I had bug net with me, never used it. So, what the? Hold on, intermission. I'm fixing the friggin' light again. Plugging in a bigger battery bank. Let's see if it works, because the other one did not work. Sea to Summit, E-Vent, nice compression set, roll top, dry bag for my sleeping bag. I had all of my like camera gear and in different pouches, and then like that were not waterproof, and then I had them within these waterproof pouches, water resistant, but this one's Eagle Creek and this one is Osprey. Super nice, they weren't expensive, kept my camera gear dry, but I broke them through negligence. One side is bungee and one side is just cord. So the bungee side of these rain flies, rain tarps, whatever, by Lens Coat is, if I were looking at you, I'd be looking at you like that. But I might have put it on the wrong way, and if you can see there, if it changes focus, I ripped it and no longer have bungee in the front, so I gotta repair that. Big, bulky, a lot bigger against the chest, you feel it. Is it more sturdy for a heavier rig that has a mic on it, a bigger, beefier lens? Yeah, maybe. I've held the same amount of weight on this, way smaller. Yeah. If you like one or the other more, comment in the comments. They're both good. I think they're both around the same price too. So yeah, let me know what you think about the Cotton Cara Strap Shot and the Peak Design Capture Clip. My knife, good, didn't break it out. Actually, I did. I did the moleskin with this. It was on my waist, super nice to have. Not waterproof. It's kind of waterproof material, but it's not waterproof, not even close to it, because the stuff in this got soaked. Luckily, I did not keep my bag. It was on my waist, super nice to have. Not waterproof. It's kind of waterproof material, but it's not waterproof, not even close to it, because the stuff in this got soaked. Luckily, I did not keep my batteries in here. I kept those in my pockets, the ones that I was going to use, so that they kept warm. So I didn't put in cold batteries into my camera, which you got to do. So this was nice. Has straps. I just ran that through my belt. Through the backpack strap on the waist belt, and it stayed on there nice. These did come out, so I got to figure out a way to get these straps to stay in there a lot more, so it wasn't like about to fall out. Would have sucked if I lost everything in this, that I just like look down and this entire pouch is gone. But it was nice. Glad to have it. Super small, super light. Okay. So now we already did that. These are two little pouches, kind of big, not that heavy. I had my extra lens, which I didn't end up really using much, in this. It's just like a little padded case in my bag. And then I had that inside one of the waterproof things with batteries and chargers and stuff. This one I also had, so these kind of sat next to each other. and then beneath them were my battery blocks, and then above that were the battery, and it was just all in one waterproof bag. So whenever I needed camera gear, take out the bag, and boom, I have access to everything relatively quickly. Maybe if I go on more of these backcountry trips with a lot of camera gear, I can quicken that process up on things that I like 100% need and don't need. But it seemed to work for that trip, for my first time doing that kind of thing. I'm gonna go through clothes really quick. I had this guy on for the first 2 days while it was sunny, and then when it started raining, I took it off because when I'm trying to put the camera up to my face, just kept getting in the way, and I didn't really want to be wearing it backwards. So I just did not wear a hat for the pretty much most of the trip. Heavyweight puffy was for when we were sitting still or if it was really cold and windy and my lightweight puffy wasn't doing the job. I'd either layer this over it or I would just break out this one instead. Yeah, this is by Marmot. I don't really know the model, no clue. It is, yeah, don't know. It's like it's a newer-ish model of them. It's kind of heavy for what it is, but it's synthetic and it packs down kind of small. Not really small, but liked it. It was great to have, and I didn't get cold. So when needed, this was great. But this is the mountain jacket, and it, yeah, I didn't wear it. So it just took up space. The extra clothes in here were in the red bag that I already unloaded. When I got back, I changed up what was in the bags for some reason. But another pair of underwear, which was an extra. So I had, yeah. And then my mountain pant, which was awesome. And I have the knee pads still in these. The knee pads were great because then if I wanted to be taking pictures and get down low or brace up against something or whatever, the knee pads are great because I got run over by a boat a couple years back and do not want to be kneeling down on my knee that has a whole bunch of scar tissue there. So having knee pads is phenomenal. Fanatic hoodie. So the Fanatic hoodie and the mountain pant that I just held up, I wore for 7 days straight. They the only time they came off my body were when they went into my sleeping bag when I slept to dry them out. Base layers. I don't think I really needed to be wearing these most of the days because I sweated through them pretty much every day that I wore them. And especially because they're the heavyweights. If I was wearing a lighter weight one, would have been fine. I think these are the mountain gloves. Super comfortable. Windstopper, great. I think I wore them twice just to cut wind when we were glassing for a little bit. Sock liners. My other pair of Smartwool socks, merino wool. But these are, I think Yukon is the brand, which I don't think that's a well-known brand at all. But you know what? They worked and I didn't have to go buy any. Where's the... Yeah, Yukon Charlies. Yeah, Yukon Charlies. But they worked and they got really wet. My feet stayed dry until we had to cross the creeks. We crossed like 4 or 5 creeks the last day to get to our last camp, which was our extraction point, and then we got snowed in. So I took them off and they stayed wet. As like my boots stayed wet, those stayed wet, my rain gear stayed wet. Yeah, Cloudburst, rain jacket, and rain pant by Sitka. Great. I didn't get wet, so that's great. Whenever I had these on, was perfect. They have vents. The legs have vents all the way down the sides, and that's easy to get on, which is nice. Don't have to take my boots off. And these have big pit zips, so if I needed to have them on, which we did have the pants on a lot of the trip because it was wet. If you sit down or if you're going through bushes, which was like bushes that you're walking through that are waist to head height. Okay, last thing, we're gonna go to the camera box. Yeah, Pelican 1510 carry-on with the rollers. Super handy. My brother got it for my birthday back in July. Loved it. Fit in all the planes. I had like so many flights. It was crazy. Definitely the most flights I'd had for a single trip. but I did go to Canada, so it makes sense. Yeah, so now let's crack into this bad boy. Batteries, both A7S2 and A7S3 were in a Ziploc bag. Okay, keeps them dry, keeps the water out. Yes, there are more watertight things than a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bag was inside of a dry bag, so they're not going to get wet. And if I needed batteries, I just get them from here. Everything's in here. When I would have a couple from each camera in my pocket throughout the day, so I could change out really quickly. I didn't have to be like, oh crap, like stop. I need to get into my backpack, into this bag. So I'd have a couple from each camera in my pocket, and then when those would die, those would go on the opposite side of my leg. And I know left and right, left is good, right is bad. That might be backwards for some people. For me, it works because it's like, it's going into the camera from this way, it's going out. Maybe that's backwards. I don't know. Left is going into the camera. When it comes out, it goes into the right pocket, and then it goes into a charger. So lenses wise, what is currently filming this vlog is the A7S3, sorry, and I bought it right before the trip. And on that body, I have the Sigma 24-70. Love that lens. I was unfortunate enough to break my Sony 24-70 last year, and I got rid of it because I broke, and I bought this 24-70 to replace it because I really didn't want to rebuy a $2,300 lens. So the Sigma is like $1,100, so like half the price. There might be some slight differences. It's great though. I love it. It's super sharp. It's lighter than the Sony is. It's a little shorter. I like the lock better because you can push right through it, but it holds it if it's on a mount. It holds it from falling, but you can push right through it. On the Sony, if it's locked, you can't push through it. T4-270 here. Sorry, 24-240. I've had this. This is the longest lens that I've had. This is the original lens that I bought with my A7S2 back in 2017. Most recent purchase for lenses is a Sony 85-1.8 f1.8. Love it. It's small, it's light, and I've been super excited about how crisp the photos are on this. I here by Moment, my Moment Variable ND lens. The lens is actually like tinted red, if you can see that there. My S2 body, and I ended up losing the eyepiece. I don't know, it came off on my chest or in the bushes or something. But on the bottom of this, so I have this grip on the side, which was super nice for pictures and filming. Just like I could put it with, this was going on the cotton carrier, so I'd have my hand in here, slide it in, twist, and let go. My hand slides out super easy, and then goes right back into that when I'm holding it. And on the bottom here, if you can see, there is, this is the cotton carrier, what slides into the mount. And this was my tripod plate, and it's super small, only adds like, I don't know, an inch and a half to the bottom of the camera, but it's super light. I mean, this body is tiny. Definitely thinner and lighter than the S3. But I bought two of these, 25,500 or 600, whatever the normal amount. It's like 20,000 and then it's 25,600. Yeah, 25,600. You have to have this with you. Have to. Also had a lens pen to, just lens pen. So both of these, absolute musts. I'm a fan of these. I like collecting things from, if I'm like go to an area that I have never been to before, and who knows, we'll never be back to. I would love to be, but can't guarantee things. So I collected some rocks. I don't know what. I would say this one's probably just quartz, but it's quartz from British Columbia, and pretty cool, a little thin. And then we have a piece of volcanic rock, kind of cool. and another piece of volcanic rock. So both of those are pretty neat. A little different, they're both kind of dark, but so I got these right at the bottom of a volcano. But yeah, everything was like black and sooty, and it was like walking through sand, deep sand, and it took a lot out of you. But everybody, I think that is it. I'm a little parched. Gonna have my remainder of my iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. And yeah, have a good afternoon. It's 1:30 here in Maine. Most New England, or most northern. Have a good evening, afternoon, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully you enjoyed my first ever vlog. So see you next time.